Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. Welcome to the vlog. I hope you're doing so well wherever or whenever in the world that you are. This reading vlog is gonna be all things deck of TBRathon. If you haven't already watched the announcement video, I'll make sure I link both Becca and Chloe. Those are the two hosts, Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, Chloe from Always Booked. I'll link their videos below. I wanted to intro the vlog now before it got too late in the evening. It's currently Friday evening. I'm about to go out to dinner with some friends. Very exciting. It's restaurant week here where I live. So we're going to a very nice Vietnamese place. I'm very excited. The food looks delicious. The cocktails look delicious. I can't wait. But when we come back, if it's not too late, we may go out afterwards. So if we don't and I come back here, I'll do my first deck card draw to figure out what I'm gonna read. If not, I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning. But yeah, I just wanted to say welcome. I hope you're doing well. I'm excited to read. I have been in one of the worst slumps I've had in recent memory. I don't even know what day it is. It's in the teens, August something in the teens. And I have finished one book, which for me is really unusual. So I'm hoping that this vlog is gonna inspire some reading, inspire your reading. And yeah, that's kind of it. So there's the intro. Maybe I'll take some B-roll, some clips of the food, and I'll check in with you guys a little later. Currently Saturday, just about 10 o'clock. Ooh, my voice sounds a bit hoarse. Who is that? Alrighty, I got home later than I was expecting, and so I kind of showered and went right to sleep. So we're gonna do our first draw now. Got my screen record going. I don't have a physical deck, so I'm gonna use one of the like online versions. So we're gonna do a little shuffle. And then I think I click it. Okay. Let me pull up the visual so I can see what this card means. Alrighty, I picked a 2. I don't think in this game the suit matters. If it does, I'm gonna ignore that rule for now. All right, so 2 says related to your last read. The last book that I picked up was a short story collection called The Improbable Meet Cute. So it had a variety of authors. For 1 point, I can read the same genre. So contemporary romance, romantic comedy vibe. For 3 points, I can read a book that has the same color, I'm assuming on the cover. Or 5 points, same letter of the author's last name. Oh, there's a lot of authors in that. Who is maybe we'll do the last author was somebody who I hadn't read before. All right, Soraya Wilson is the author of the final short story. The last letter of that name, is that what it said? Same letter of author's last name. Okay, so W. Interesting. For 5 points, an author whose name starts with a W. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta do a little research, figure out what I want to read. Okay, after a few minutes of deliberation and research, I think I'm gonna pick up The Love Con by Ceresia Glass. I'm gonna be able to use it for 2 points because it has the same color on the cover as the Improbable Meet Cute. They're both pink. It's also the same genre, but I'm gonna go for the higher points. And this is a fake dating romantic comedy where the main character, Kenya, she does cosplay and she's trying to make a profession out of it. So she joins this reality show competition, and one of the rounds is all about the contestants and their partners. And she's single, so she asks her best friend, Cameron, to pretend to be her boyfriend. And, we all know where this fake dating trip goes. So this sounds right up my alley. It sounds light and fun and fluffy. I've read good reviews, so I'm pretty excited. So I've just downloaded that on my Audible, my audio, whatever. And yeah, so I think I'm going to start that today. I also desperately need to read The Women by Kristen Hanna. I have a book club on Wednesday and I haven't even started it. So I also need to prioritize that. I was hoping that that book would somehow fit for this card, but that's okay. We'll read them both simultaneously, I guess. Great, we've got our first card, our first book. I'm very excited. Like I said, it's Saturday morning, so I have a few errands to run this morning, which is great because I'll put on one of these audios in the meantime while I'm walking and driving around town. I can't wait. I'll bring you guys with me. Okay, hello. I am back from doing errands round 1. I did a classic CVS and Starbucks run. They're right next to each other, so it's nice to do the walk in one circle. It's very convenient for me. And as I was walking about town, I was able to listen to the first chapter of The Love Con, and I was able to listen to the first couple of chapters in The Women. And here are my initial thoughts. The Love Con, I'm obsessed. The first chapter really sets up the premise for how this fake dating situation is going to happen. She's on the game show and she's in the final 3. And she, of course, advances to the finale. And the challenge requires you to work with a partner. And her competitor is doing it with her husband. And one of the judges is kind of snarky and rude and is like, oh, Kenya, you don't have a boyfriend, do you? So you're going to have to find somebody of lesser value. Which, first of all, why is the assumption by this judge that your romantic partner is going to be the best fit automatically? What if you had a best friend or a sister or a mom who's really creative and good at cosplay, you know? So kind of in a panic, she says that her roommate / best friend, Cameron, is actually her, she says partner, so it's not a full-on lie, but that he's going to do the cosplay finale with her. So I loved it. I love her as a character already. She's strong and confident, creative. And so I'm here for it. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I'm also very excited to meet Cameron. I can't wait. I loved it. I've also really been enjoying The Women. I'm on chapter 3. I got a little teary-eyed already, which is not a good sign for where this book is going to go. But essentially we're following, at least right now, just one character, Frankie. And her brother has gone off to fight in Vietnam. She is a nurse and she, not really on a whim, but kind of out of desperation to find purpose and meaning in her life and also to maybe meet up with her brother, signs up to become an army nurse. And of course, already from chapter 2, things are not going as expected, and there's already been a little bit of heartbreak, and so I'm here for it. Also, Julia Whalen is the narrator for The Women, which I love. She's one of my favorite audiobook narrators. She's one of my favorite voice actors, so I'm very, very excited. Whoa, I can feel this coffee hitting me. I feel like my energy has revved up to 100. So I think I'm going to continue listening to The Women for now, just because it's a bit longer. And I'd like to do a bigger dent before we play D&D later this afternoon. I'd like to have a good chunk under my belt. I'm about to head off to Harris Teeter. I need to get a few little knickknacks I don't know why I said knickknacks, food items to hold me over for the weekend before I do a real food shop tomorrow for the whole week. I got to get some cat litter and a few other things. And then if I am feeling up to it, I also need to go to DSW. My brother is getting married in a couple weeks and I need to find some shoes for the wedding. I have a pair of high heels that I truly haven't worn in the last 8 years. So I want to try those on really quickly and then kind of assess from there if I like them, if they even go with my dress, and I guess probably end up buying more shoes. So anyways, that's where we're at. I'm in a really good mood. I'm excited to be reading. Both of these are really hitting the spot. They're feeling good. They're making me excited to read, which I love. And yeah, I think that's all my updates. I'll check in with you guys a little later. Woo! All right, it's a couple hours later. I have been reading The Women. I I'm on chapter 11 maybe. It is emotional. I feel like I have to take a little break because I'm supposed to play Dungeons and Dragons in a little bit, and I need to like collect myself and shift my mindset a little bit so that I can be silly and have fun. So far, I am completely captivated by this story. Oh my God, I'm like disgusted and enamored by and completely compelled by the characters, by, oh my God, the Vietnam War is the scariest, most stressful setting I've read in a long time. I love the little like girl nurse friendship kind of at the center, at least at the beginning here with Frankie, Ethel, and Barb. I just love their camaraderie and that they're just there for each other and they know each other so well. So I'm obsessed with them. Sorry, I'm just realizing you can see Francis's cat litter in the background. Please ignore that. Yeah, I am heartbroken already. So I'm both nervous and excited. That doesn't quite feel like the right word, but I'm like eager to keep going and to keep reading. So I'm gonna pause for a little bit, finish eating my lunch. I made a little like leftover Mexican style sweet potato situation. So I'm gonna eat a little lunch, get ready for D&D, check in with you guys afterwards when I get back to reading. Whew, if you've read this book, let me know your thoughts, because by the time this is posted, I'll already be finished. But whoa, it's been an emotional roller coaster, and I'm only on chapter 11. Okay, talk to you guys later. It's a few hours later. We just finished D&D. It was so much fun. We are doing this kind of like, I don't know, like single game campaign. So our little group goes on these individual missions every week to like a different world to fight the baddies or solve the crime or whatever. So it's like a Monsters of the Week style. It is so much fun. And this episode or this campaign that we just did was sort of a haunted house vibe, and it was really, really fun. Kudos to Jordan, our DM, my sister. It was great. And I know you're watching, so you did an A+ work. It's just about 7:00, so I ordered dinner. I'm gonna eat a nice little like Korean bowl, one of those rice style bowls that are so delicious. So I'm gonna eat dinner, maybe watch YouTube for a little bit, and then I'll get back to reading. Probably The Women, because I built some momentum and I want to get back into the world and see what happens next. But yeah, those are kind of my plans for the evening. Pretty chill. It's a little gray and on and off rainy, so I don't feel super motivated to do anything fun out and about town. I think that's all done for the day. So I'm gonna eat, relax, read, and I'll check in with you the next time I have anything of note to say. Hello, good morning. It is Sunday, again, just around 10:00 in the morning. I stayed up so late last night because I was desperate to finish The Women, and I did. I think I was up till like 2 or 2:30. I was on a roll and I just could not stop. I needed to know where things ended. 5 stars. I'll start there. I can see this book really staying with me for a really, really long time. This is only the second Kristen Hanna book that I've ever read. I read The Nightingale maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and I also was completely obsessed with that when I read it then. Frankie was such a captivating, imperfect character. I found her time both like deep in the war and afterwards like equally interesting and fascinating. I thought watching her deal with the aftermath of war and PTSD and kind of all that encompasses like getting back to normal life, I thought was so thoughtfully done. You know, I'm not a veteran myself, but it felt like it's done with a lot of dignity and a lot of care and a lot of research. And so I just, at no point was Frankie like demonized for her struggles. I think it was like a really honest portrayal of like what it feels like when you've gone through something that not everybody wants to talk about or can relate to, and how isolating that can feel. I mean, I thought it was really, really beautifully done. I loved the female friendships at the center of this story. Barb and Ethel are just everything to me. I love them so much. I loved watching her relationship with her parents kind of change throughout the story. Her romantic relationships really changed throughout the story. I mean, it was so good. I'm like really, really glad that I read it. I'm really looking forward to our book club on Wednesday. Like, I loved it. 5 stars. It was great. I do want to talk spoilers for just like a hot second. So I'll make sure I put something on the screen, or, you know, make it obvious. So if you haven't read it and you don't want any spoilers, like, this is your warning. Please like skip ahead. Just like go, 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 go. Okay. So first of all, I didn't like Rye from the beginning. I just got, and maybe that's true of everybody, but like, even when he's like all charming and they're in Kauai and having the time of their life, I was just like, something about him doesn't feel 100% honest. And I also, in my like little notes that I take as I read, I knew that he was not really dead. Like, I had a sneaking suspicion that he was going to be one of the POWs, or like that he was, I also like didn't assume the best. I was like, oh, maybe he like faked his death to become a spy, or so that he could get separation from Frankie, or like, you know, something maybe a more sinister. But either way, I'm not surprised that he turned out to not be right for her. And I just felt so sad for her when she was like, just like really in the grips of like her addiction. And Raya, you know, later, oh my God, I just like, my heart really felt for her. I really at times felt like her suffering was suffocating. Like, I felt so much like I was in it with her, that like it was hard to breathe sometimes with the grief and the sorrow and the stress. And God, it was written so well. I also just like from day one, I was obsessed with Jamie. I literally, in chapter 2, when she's doing chest compressions and they take him away and you think that he dies, I was sobbing. Like, I think you saw in one of my earlier clips that I was kind of emotional. I was really devastated. And then, but I'd also mentioned at one point, like, wouldn't it be great if Jamie was still alive somehow, or if he made it home? And then he does at the end. Oh, I was soaring. I loved it so much. I'm so proud of her dad for finally acknowledging, like, when they're at the Vietnam War Memorial, like, that she is a hero, and, you know, that he felt guilty for not including her on the heroes wall or whatever. Love that she went into the mental health field. If you don't know, I also work in mental health, and so I kind of forgot that PTSD wasn't really a thing until after Vietnam. Like, that's when they really started to kind of acknowledge the impact of war. I know that previously there was, I think, something called like shell shock maybe, but it certainly wasn't researched. It certainly wasn't talked about. So yeah, I appreciated that little like little mental health history element in the story. Yeah, I just thought it was so good. Okay, end of spoilers, I think, for now. Oh, I loved it so much. I'm really glad that I read it. It was good. It made me so emotional, like happy emotions, relieved emotions, like such deep sorrow. Like, oh, I loved it. It was really, really good. I know that it wasn't a pick technically for Deck of TBR-athon, but I'm thrilled that I've read it in the space of Deck of TBR. So what a great pick. Anyways, speaking of Deck of TBR-athon, today I'm going to make myself some breakfast at some point, and then I'm going to jump back into the Love Con. This was the book that I officially picked for Deck of TBR-athon. I picked yesterday 2 of Hearts, which of course you would have already seen, but I read the first chapter yesterday and I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to get back into that story today. I genuinely have nothing on my plans today. I have some like optional errands. Like, I would like to maybe do a big food shop for the week, but I could also do that tomorrow. I'd love to go move my body, like do a workout or run or walk or do something like that. The weather's not great, so I'm feeling a little ambivalent about that right now. Maybe I'll do something at home. I would like to maybe go to DSW because I surely didn't go yesterday. But I have a feeling, I have a sneaking suspicion that it's going to be a lazy Sunday, and I'm just going to kind of embrace that rest, read. This is the first time in what feels like months I've been excited to read. So I really want to like honor that and do something that's going to bring me joy and help me feel energized before I go back to work tomorrow. So all that rambling to say, I love the women. I'm excited to pick up the Love Con, and yeah, I'll check in with you guys at some point later today. Hello. It is many hours later. It is just about 5:30. I finished the Love Con. I loved it. It was such a feel-good romance. I was smiling and giggling and enjoying myself the whole time. A very different vibe from the women, but I think I needed that. It was a nice like palate cleanser. Kenya, it might be one of my favorite characters / female main leads in a contemporary romance in a while. I loved her. She was creative and passionate and funny and caring, and I just found her so likable, so easy to root for. And Cameron was the cutest. He was such a cinnamon roll. I loved how devoted and obsessed he was with her. I love that they were just kind of ride or dies for each other, like best friends. They've been through it. And, you know, the premise of this silly reality show allowed both of them to kind of fulfill their like fantasies for one another. Like they are both into each other. And I just loved that the reality show allowed them to test that out in a way that they were comfortable with. It was just, I loved it. I loved the drama of the reality TV show. I just had such a good time. I thought it was so beautifully written. My only complaint is I wish it was maybe a little steamier. I was so into them as a couple. I was a little bummed that we get kind of a closed door scene. But it's fine. The book was so sweet. I loved it. It was such a feel-good story, a quick read. I read it in one sitting. I really enjoyed myself. All that to say is now it is time for our next deck of TBR-athon card pick. So I've got it set up on my computer. Sorry if you're a little close there. And we're going to do a little shuffle. And what do we get? Okay, 3. 3 says, sorry, I'm just looking down on my computer. On your owned TBR is the category. So something that I've purchased myself. For me, I'm going to also count audibles, like, because I've purchased those either with a credit or like with my own money or my physical TBR. So for 1 point, I can pick a book that I've acquired in the last 6 months, 3 points if it's over a year old, or 5 points if it's over 5 years old. Okay, let me think and I'll get back to you. Okay, after some consideration, even though it's only going to get me 1 point, it's what I think I would like to read next. So I'm going to pick up Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan for 2 reasons. 1, because I just purchased the audio within the last 6 months. And 2, it is short, which means that I can read more things in this vlog. So, and actually the third thing is that it also checks the box for the Buzzwordathon reading prompt for this month, where you have to read a book that has like in the title. So, whoa, that serves me well. So I think that's what I'm gonna listen to next. Like I mentioned, it's just about 5:30. So I think I'm gonna take a little break from reading at some point, like feed Francis, feed myself, get myself together and ready. My eyes could use a little break. I have a tendency while I'm listening to audiobooks to like play little games on my phone, and my eyes are definitely tired from like looking at the screen. So I could use a little eyeball break. So I might go on a little walk. I don't know. I just see what I need to do to feel ready for tomorrow. Yeah, so I may not start it tonight. If I do, I'll check in with you guys. If not, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Not tomorrow morning, who am I kidding? Tomorrow after work, so we'll see. Hello again from probably the exact same spot on the couch as I was in the last clip. It is actually Tuesday. It's about 5:30, 5:45. I'm just getting home from work. I'm checking in to say that I actually don't have any reading updates. I got a little bit distracted because I made the executive decision for myself to rewatch season 1 of House of the Dragons so that I can now binge season 2 of House of the Dragons now that all the episodes have been released. So the last few days, I think Sunday, yesterday, and like honestly probably tonight, I've really been focused on my enjoyment of House of the Dragons. So I am still planning on picking up small things like these. The audio is very short. It's only maybe 90 minutes, so very quick read. I don't know if I'm gonna start it tonight, if I'm being totally honest. I might, maybe just before bed, but I definitely want to try and squeeze a couple episodes of Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon in tonight. I'm gonna heat up some leftovers here in a little bit. I don't think I'm going to have anything too exciting from the reading front to report back today, but I did just want to do like a little check-in because I couldn't remember the last time I checked in with you all and said hello. And I mean, I guess as you're watching it, it was just a moment because one clip flows right into the next. But for me, it feels like a few days. I also have had a really, really hectic few weeks of work, and it's really messed with my filming schedule. Typically, in a perfect world, I'm able to like do all of my filming and editing on the weekends so that after work, my evenings are like free for me to do what I want. But my schedules looked a little bit wonky, both on the weekends and with some late work nights. So, you know, I just haven't been able to get my stuff together to film and edit and get things uploaded. So if you're seeing this is probably the first video in a few weeks. I apologize about that. You know, life is lifing, and I needed to prioritize some other things and make sure YouTube stays fun for me. So I didn't want to stress out about it. Throughout the fall, work gets a little bit crazy. So, you know, I try to post every Tuesday, but we'll see how consistent I am through August, September, October, and like low-key November. So we'll see. Thanks for sticking with me if you made it this far. Enough rambling. I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what you're reading right now. Are you doing deck of TBR-athon? What team are you on? I want to know all the details. And yeah, I'll, you know, probably check in with you tonight, tomorrow, some point in the future. I don't know. Sorry, it's been a long day. My brain feels a little bit tired. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling. Enough, Andy, enough. All right, see you later. Hello. It is Wednesday. It is later in the evening. Sorry about the lighting. Some of my bulbs are out, and this is just what I've got to work with. So I know it's not great, but we're going to keep it moving. I have not started small things like these, but it is absolutely on my to-do list for this evening. I have to watch another episode of Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. I have to. Last night, I ended on season 2, episode 4. And if you've watched it, you'll know it was a nail biter, and I'm desperate to find out what happens next. So I have to watch season 5 tonight. When that's finished, though, I have to cut myself off so I can still get a reasonable night's sleep. And so I'll start the book as a bedtime read. Hopefully it's not too sad. Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm checking in for 2 reasons. One, I needed to say out loud that I will start the book today so that I can hold myself accountable. And 2, I just want to share, so we had our book club meeting for The Women by Kristen Hanna. It's the book club that I'm in with women from my apartment complex. And we had such a fascinating discussion. To be honest, not so much about the book itself, but more about people's experience reading it. One of the group members was a army nurse in Vietnam. She wasn't in country. She was placed in Japan, in Tokyo, I think, or just outside Tokyo. But it was fascinating hearing how her lived experience was similar or dissimilar to the book. And we just had such a really good conversation about the impact of war then versus now. And we went on many, many tangents. Again, we didn't actually talk that much about the book, but it was such an engaging conversation. And I loved every minute of it. We had such a good time. I really enjoyed myself. Yeah, I just wanted to share that because it was really fun. So If you decide to read the women, I think finding someone to buddy read it with so that you can chat about it will only elevate your reading experience. Whether you loved it, you hated it, whatever, I think it's a good idea. It's a hard book to read alone and like sit with by yourself, so it was really nice to kind of process and share stuff that came up for the book, stuff that came up in the book, and also just, you know, how it related to our individual lived experiences. It was really great. Anywho, it's a little bit late. It's about 8:30 right now. So I want to take a quick shower so that I can watch Game of Thrones. I still have to eat dinner, so I should probably do something light or small, or I don't know. I'm feeling lazy and I'm not super hungry, and I'm just rambling at this point. Okay, I'm gonna go do the things, and I'll check in with you tomorrow with my reading update for Small Things Like These. Hello, it is Thursday. Sorry if you can hear my car running, the AC, my old engine. I'm just about to leave work. I have a little reading update from yesterday. Yes, I did start. Go me. I only read / listened to the first, oh gosh, I don't know, 3 or 4 chapters. And I don't really know too much what this book is about, but these first couple of chapters were introduced to a dad. His name is Bill Furlow. I don't even remember. Something that starts with an F. And he seems like a sweet dad. He's got 5 daughters. These first few chapters were just kind of like following their lives, getting to know them a little bit more. So I'm very curious to see like what's gonna happen or where we go from here. I'm on my way home from work. Obviously, I'm in the car. When I get home, I'm gonna cook some dinner. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. Hopefully I can finish Small Things Like These tonight so that I can make another pick. I really, really need my next deck of TBR pick to align with the book club book that I need to read for Saturday. So I might have to get flexible just to make that work because timing is short. I don't have much time left to read that book for the book club. So anyways, all that to say, hello again. I'm looking forward to reading this evening, and I'll check in with you guys a little later. Hi, it is a few days later. I honestly don't remember the last day that I filmed, so I just wanted to kind of do a quick reading update / end the vlog, I think. I did finish Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan, and I liked it. I'm sitting on kind of like a 3.5, 4 stars. I thought it was an interesting, sort of like bittersweet, kind of melancholy, but kind of charming tale about a dad and his daughters. I did sort of feel thrown at times by the setting. Sometimes hearing Bill describe people, scenarios, situations, to me it felt like this took place in like the early 1900s. And to realize that it's a bit more modern than that, kind of like, whoa, it felt a bit jarring. And there were times that I thought were really sweet and wholesome. And then there were times that I found kind of bleak and sad. And so I do think for how short it was very captivating and certainly thought-provoking about family dynamics and poverty and small communities. And so I thought it was a really interesting read. I'm glad that I read it. But yeah, I did finish that. And with that, I think we must close the vlog. I have no idea how many days that this has been spanning. I haven't read quite the volume that I was hoping, but I do feel like I've read pretty high quality books, so I'm quite pleased with that. I also had to read Interesting Facts About Space by Emily Austen, I think. But I did mention that in this vlog, so I don't really think that that counts. So all that to say, it was a good way to kickstart my reading. I've certainly been reading more these last, 10 or so days than I have the last couple of months. So I'll take that as a win. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you got to read. Let me know if you were participating in Deck of TBR-athon and what books you picked up. I'd love to hear. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye.